So they made a new video talking about a new leak that they have for SBI. Now, Master of the TDS and Gothic Therapy in general has been 100% working their ass off on pretty much exposing a couple of companies. You know, Wings, whatever they call Wings Interactive was one of them. And a lot of them seem to all be tied to SBI, ironically, in some way, shape, or form. So ultimately, it all comes down to following the trail that SBI has left behind. You know, regarding their finances and their grifting and all that stuff, whatever the case may be. And just going over, you know, things that they like to do as a company, which I feel like people should know about, right? So SBI has tried to be very silent over the last year or so, ever since the whole debacle happened. But let it be known, they've been doing things behind closed doors. You know, as you guys have been aware, we've reacted to GDC videos. We've reacted to different interviews that Kim Belair and other people have had that have worked for SBI. So Gothic Therapy has been doing a lot of good work, you know, because to be honest with you, for me, like there's so many things happening. It's very hard to go down the rabbit hole of all these different things that are happening at once. So it seems like there are multiple channels out there that have decided to make certain things their specialty. And Master of the TDS and Writing Raven have absolutely made their specialty investigating companies, which I think is great. You know, them and Madam Savvy as well. They really go into the deep dive of doing this stuff. So I figure let's react to this video because I'm curious to see what's going on here. And then we will kind of go from there. It's only 7 minutes long, so we'll react to this, and then we're going to get into the other content. But I wanted to do the reaction first, so let's go.
You've heard the sound bites.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
And if I can't sell them on, hey, don't do that, I can instill fear by suggesting that once it gets past us, someone else will take them down for this.
For years, Kim Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. called it branding. Cheeky, disruptive, harmless, right? But today, we're done pretending. Because now, we have the receipts. I
think it's hilarious that the person who is usually involved in making women so androgynous looking happens to have some of the widest fucking hips and one of the thickest asses that I've ever seen one of these developers ever have, to be honest with you. I just think it's hilarious, right? Like, you as a woman who has all the natural born curves that a woman has because you have wider hips naturally, you like to make your women look like men. It's just fucking weird. It's like, do you look in the mirror? Do you look in the, do you want to donate your ass? I'm sure there are flat-assed women out there that would love to have a little bit of what you have. You know what I mean? Like, just give it out at this point.
A leaked clip from a real internal discussion where Sweet Baby Inc. didn't advise, they pushed again and again until the studio broke. This isn't narrative design, it's narrative domination. And this time, no spin can save.
People are saying she's flat. She is not flat, bro. She is not flat, bro. You're out of your mind. Listen, Kim Belair is a piece of shit, don't get me wrong. But she is absolutely thick. You're crazy if you think otherwise. Actually, Bird Dog says it in the chat. Bird Dog says it in the chat. He says that it's not about that. It's about denying men. You know what? You're right. You're 100% right. It's not about making ugly women. It's about denying men the existence of women, like natural born women like that. Yeah, you're actually right about that. 100%.
Hello, hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Writing Raven.
Welcome back to the channel.
Before we jump in, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because when we say you'll want to be here for the next one, we mean it.
Today's leak isn't theory. It isn't out of context. This is Sweet Baby Inc. admitting on camera that they wore a game studio down on purpose. You know the quotes. Terrify your marketing team, instill fear. People said it was just Kim.
People are saying the video's a bit loud. Okay, well, I'll just lower it a little bit. Here you go.
Being spicy.
But this time, it's not Kim. It's Cameron Wild. Sweet Baby's narrative designer. Kim's
this fucking creature. Man, this is the person that said they want to burn the gaming industry down to the ground. Isn't that this person? That's who said they said they want to burn the gaming industry down to the ground. That's what SBI, wants to do and all that stuff.
Ally, Kim's employee, and the same person who once said, "I'm here to burn it all down."
Oh, there you go. there you go. I should have just waited like 10 seconds and I would have got my answer. But yeah, I figured that was this particular person.
Totally normal, healthy.
Hey, what body type do you think this person is? Because we all go by body types now. So what do you think? Are we going with a solid body type B? Well, actually, hold on. Are we using Elder Scrolls logic? Because then that means that body type B is male and body type A is female. So are we going with a body type B here? What body type do you think they go by?
Consulting energy, right?
But this time, it's not branding. It's not cheeky. In this leaked clip, Cameron admits to hammering a studio again and again and again until they caved.
Not persuaded, not enlightened, broken.
This isn't narrative guidance. This is brute force submission. And once you hear it, you'll realize this isn't an exception. It's the playbook.
Roll the clip.
Definitely there have been moments. I can think of one.
Got that HRT voice going on right now. Either that or it's just a really terrible microphone, which, by the way, I find it odd that all of these people, these fucking consultants that work, they do constant Zoom calls all the time. They can't invest in a halfway decent microphone or a headset that makes them sound anything better than a fucking scam caller at a call center. Like, I just don't understand the lack of professionalism, but whatever anyway.
In particular, don't need to get into the specifics of the game, but it was a situation where the identity of the characters was fairly important that we get it right. And in this situation, we actually had to have a more heart-to-heart, really foundational conversation about these are some of the experiences that you are necessarily going to invoke, or some of the messages that you are going to invoke, some of the implications you are going to invoke, regardless of whether you want to or not. It's not a question of like, are you doing it well, or are you doing it badly? It's just, it's there. And so here are the options for how that could go. And this was a pretty, I would say, like, unique situation where they were willing to take days out of their time to talk with us about it. And I think in that situation, it was, as a marginalized person, I felt making myself very vulnerable.
Oh my god, bro. I don't think I can ever understand what it's like to be somebody who walks around this planet and refers to themselves as a marginalized person every chance they get. I don't think I can ever understand what it's like to live at that level of perpetual victimhood where you have to remind yourself and other people that you are marginalized every chance you get in a conversation. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? You really think you're such a goddamn victim? Are you serious right now? You think you're so marginalized? You think there are people out there that are trying to keep you down? The evil white man is trying. The only person who keeps you down is yourself. That is it. There are plenty of successful black people that are out there that have beaten the supposed system that you are claiming is keeping you down. And yet somehow, some way, the thousands of fucking black millionaires out there, maybe even more than that, are doing perfectly fine. It doesn't even have to be millionaires. There are thousands upon thousands of successful black people that make a great living, that provide for their families, that do everything they have to do. And yet you're over here trying to say that the system is keeping you down. Yeah, it's the system that's keeping you down. Mind you, you're in fucking Canada, bro. You're in Canada. Canada is like one of the number one DEI countries in the world, and yet you are still claiming to be marginalized. How the fuck does that even work? How does that even work? So that tells me that DEI doesn't work then. That's what that tells me. If you're trying to claim to be marginalized still, and you live in a country like Canada, that tells me that DEI clearly is not working if you're still marginalized. I thought the whole point of DEI was to try to fix marginalization. So what are we doing?
and being brutally honest of just like, hey, I think what you're doing is not cool. And then being met with a less than optimal response to that, and then having to say it again and then again and again. What I would take.
Peace out. See you later, Magnetic Banana. I mean, we are going to cover other topics, but I understand. It's only a couple minutes, but I get it. It's rough. It's rough. I get it. Peace out.
Out of that, what I have taken out of that in hindsight is know where your personal and professional limit is. Choose your battles. Decide as much as you can which hills you're willing to die on and which, maybe you would rather not. I think that really will serve you well, and get very specific about your priorities. Be willing to let certain things go, maybe, but that comes with experience. That's not something that I knew in the moment. I think in hindsight, I will say I wish I had been a little less vulnerable. And so that is a very valuable piece of information that I now have about myself.
Let's break this down.
Bro,
That was
what the fuck did they even say? What did they even say? That was like 3 minutes of just mumble jumble bullshit that accounted for absolutely nothing. It led to absolutely nothing. Like, what did you even say? It's gibberish. Exactly, Falstaff. Just fucking gibberish. Like, what is that even? All I got from that was, woe is me, I'm marginalized. That's all I got from that.
wasn't hyperbole. That wasn't a joke. That wasn't taken out of context.
That was Cameron Wild describing how they kept pressing a studio again and again and again until the studio gave up.
They didn't collaborate. They didn't find middle ground. The studio just surrendered.
They even said the first response was less than optimal. So instead of respecting that, they went harder.
And when pushing didn't work fast enough, they got emotional, not to connect, but to guilt, to manipulate.
Yeah, so basically, Sweet Baby Inc. is not the company that you think does what you know. Whatever the fucking saying is, Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what you think they do. They do exactly what you think they do. If not, probably worse, to be honest with you. We probably don't even know the full extent of what they are even capable of or what they've gotten away with. Let's just be real. You know? Because when you threaten people with bad PR, when you threaten people with bad press in a company, I'm sure on the inside, these people have done ungodly amount of things to ensure that they get their way. Whatever that may be. So I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Then Cameron said, I wish I had been less vulnerable. Not because they went too far, but because they resent needing to.
They didn't want dialogue. They wanted obedience. And they were pissed it took effort to get it.
And then came the kicker. People need to be willing to let things go. But they weren't talking about themselves. They were talking about the devs.
Oh, yeah, the people who can't let things go are the ones that are trying to tell you that you should be okay with letting things go. Yeah, you mean like the same people who are currently complaining about the fact that there is a mod that exists to replace body type 1 and 2 with male and female? The same people who say it's not a big deal. The same people who say, why are you complaining? Stop being a chud. It's not a big deal. Just go play video games. And yet they never play video games, and they're always complaining if you remove their ideology. It's like unbelievable.
So let's call this what it is.
We
Sweet
got
Baby
a
Inc.
raid. Hold on,
says
we got
that
a raid on Rumble. We got a raid. Dark Mages raided the stream. Hey, Dark Mages, thank you so much for the raid, bro.
they're collaborators. But when studios push back, they pressure, they push, and they break you down.
And now they've admitted it. In their own words, no spin, no plausible deniability.
So the next time Sweet Baby Inc. smiles at the camera and says,
I'm the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., which, contrary to popular belief, is not a DEI
Oh shit, it's our boy, Mr. Oh shit.
company, but a narrative development company.
remember this
Yeah, the DEI company that for some reason every single panel they're on is always DEI focused. Every single interview that they're on and talking about happens to be DEI focused, but they're totally not a DEI company. Nope. Everything that they do is based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and their narrative consulting is based off of that as well. And they do it through the eyes of DEI. They've admitted this. They've said that they do it through the eyes of inclusion, which means that you are some form of a DEI company, and yet they totally don't do that, right? They don't do that at all. Nope.
this moment.
Because what they call help was emotional pressure. It was brute force narrative control. It was breaking down the developers until they gave in.
Peace out, Will the fans. I appreciate you, brother.
This confirms everything we've warned you about. The fear, the manipulation, the coercive tactics, and the industry silence that lets it thrive.
But not anymore. You've heard it. They can't walk it back. And they can't pretend we imagined it.
So share it, clip it, blow it up.
Because the louder this gets, the harder it becomes for them to hide behind that smile.
And if you work in games, ask yourself, are you telling your story or are they?
Sweet Baby doesn't do what gamers think it does?
Well, now, that's verifiably false.
And then being met with a less than optimal response to that, and then having to say it again, and then again and again, and then having to say it again, and then again and again.
Yeah, so they don't take no for an answer, basically. They just keep going and going and going until they get exactly what they want. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I do understand how these people keep getting hired. I do understand how these people keep getting jobs. I get it. I get it. Because it's cheaper for a company to pay a consultancy firm and use them as a shield for any criticism that may come their way. When it comes to anything that might be considered racist, sexist, or whatever, they can say, well, we hired consultants. Look, they're in the credits. This is who we hired. And they told us this was okay. They did our sensitivity reading. They did all this fucking nonsense. Oh God, it is so like, it is so boring. Like, I really don't know how much to say it other than that. It is so fucking boring, man. These people who walk around, claim to be marginalized, but they make $150,000, $200,000 a year in Canada, mind you. It's like, oh yeah, you probably feel marginalized because your country's taking 2/3 of your fucking money in taxes. But that's not my fault, regardless. But in any case, this is a good video from Gothic Therapy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link it right now in the chat. Let me link it in the chat, guys. Consider checking out Gothic Therapy if you guys enjoy the content that you just saw. If you enjoy the content you just saw, consider subscribing to their channel if you like it. And if you don't, well, tell them where you found it and where you saw it, because it's good. It's good stuff.